And welcome to this video where we're gonna look at one of the most important concept in domain 1 for CISSP, and that is CIA Triad. What does CIA stands for? It stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. What is confidentiality? Something which is closely related in terms of privacy. In terms of exam, most of the people think that confidentiality is what an actual IT security is all about. So this is a very important concept in IT security. The idea is to keep our data, our password, our secrets as secrets. And we ensure that no one unauthorized get access to our data and secrets. So that's confidentiality. Integrity is a concept which is closely related to authenticity and non-repudiation. Authenticity means you prove who you are claiming to be. And non-repudiation is a concept which you'll also see in later videos, is about not denying or not able to deny something that you have done. So for example, if you have committed a transaction, you cannot deny that you have committed that transaction. Integrity is dominantly about protecting our data from unauthorized modifications. And we ensure that our data and secrets are not altered at the end system where it's supposed to be used. Availability is about having access to system on which we work upon. Is when we need them, we have them. As a matter of fact, NIST defined in one of their special publications, 833, CIA as a security objective, which means the control framework are built to basically fulfill this holistic CIA objectives. How do we achieve confidentiality? We do so by means of cryptography at a very technical level. That is by using encryption for data at rest, securing when the data is being transmitted using SSL, TLS or IPsec, the details of which we will see in later domains. And while we use the data, we make sure that we do not have inadvertent leaks of data. For example, we have a screen protector so that people walking by near our desk do not see the actual data that we're working on. When we are in a public space, we make sure to not let people shoulder surf to see what we're working on. This can be achieved technically by various means. For example, you can have a strong password, you have a multi-factor authentication so that people cannot break into your system, and you have tighter, stricter access control, which are based on need to know, least privilege principle. What are the threats against confidentiality? Well, cryptanalysis. This is a detailed subject in itself, which is about breaking the cryptography. Social engineering, the shoulder surfing part that I have just mentioned. Keyloggers, where what you type is getting logged. The concept is also becoming quite wider in a sense that with the Internet of Things, with all this tiny bits of digitalization that is in our homes and offices, in cars and whatnot, is also expanding the surface area to attack the confidentiality. So the threats are ever larging. Secondly, we then come to integrity, which is achieved by using technically again cryptography, and we will see how this is achieved in the later videos. We use message digest or hashing as we know it more commonly. We use digital signature, which help in non-repudiation. So for example, if we have digitally signed the document, we cannot claim not to have signed it. And we maintain integrity by proper access control so that only authorized people have access to data what they're supposed to have. Like confidentiality, integrity also have threats, which is about data getting altered, code injection attack, whereby a code actually manipulates your data while processing it, and cryptanalysis as such, which is attack on your cryptographic systems. The last of these concepts is availability. And how do we achieve availability? By making sure that our systems are available up and close to the time where they need to be available. For example, by doing proper patch management, we make sure that the vulnerabilities which the system may encounter is not there. We prevent the incidents from happening by using IPS or IDS, which is intrusion prevention system and intrusion detection systems. This is something we will learn a great deal in the later domains. We build redundancy, so the capability of system to switch over to another live version of it if the primary version is getting down or get attacked. And in terms of using a third party, we have service level agreements which help them defining our criteria as to how much availability we need, 90%, 95%, 99%, or even 100%. What are the threats against availability? And it also comes in a various forms and shape, like DDoS, distributed denial of service, where the availability of your system get hampered. System compromise, that's where patching is important so that all the loopholes, all the backdoors, or the common vulnerability aspect of your system are patched. The system availability is also impacted by the core application failure or the component failure. For example, the hard drive or the memory disk failure or the data center cable failure may lead to the unavailability of your system. It is important to understand that a system being available need not necessarily mean that it is accessible, usable, and it is available timely. So just because if you having your laptop, it doesn't mean that it's working. Your laptop may have a fault, which means your laptop is available to you, but it's not usable. So it is important to keep this distinction very clear. This aspect of CIA Triad, but also the flip side of it, what we have seen with respect to availability being not same as accessible, useful, and timely, has led to another miniature framework, which is called as Packer and Hexad. And it deals with this aspect in much more granular level. For example, it assigns identification, authentication, and authorization, which is part of the access control framework required for confidentiality and availability, and in part, integrity. It also fixes the accountability part, which is important in the integrity aspect, for example, digital signatures. And it also talks about the utility and the position of controls, which is important concept for your availability criteria. So please pay great attention to this distinction. This is a very important concept in domain 1, and it is a basis for most of the other domains that we will see. Thank you very much, and I'll stop here. Keep learning and stay safe.